Would you be surprised to know that parents spend about 37 hours each week worrying about their children, and that over 1,200 children go missing each day in the United States? Introducing NugSafe. Getting lost is a situation that is scary for both parent and child, especially when there is no form of communication. So my solution is to bring peace of mind to parent and child alike with a simple way to monitor and contact your nugget. Please refer to the blueprints in front of you. In the development of this product, I reached out to the University of Rhode Island, specifically the Engineering and Wearable Technology Research Group. The product features a call button, an adjustable and tamper-resistant band, and also a GPS tracker chip. The product includes GPS and cellular technology because it's much more precise than Bluetooth. The band is also tamper-resistant and very unassuming, so that it won't attract unwanted attention. With a simple push of a button on the band, a call will be immediately forwarded to the parent's cell phone. So it gives the parent and child peace of mind knowing that they are only one call away from each other. This is a mock-up of the NugSafe app. It can be downloaded on a parent or guardian's mobile device, and it shows both the parent and the child's exact location. Although children will be the intended users of this product, we plan to target parents and grandparents of children ages 2 to 10. These consumers value brand authenticity, product integrity, and user safety, and we plan to reach them using social media, Instagram and TikTok, and also in-person events. Our serviceable attainable market in Rhode Island is around 130,000 children ages 0 to 11. And as we gain proof of concept and grow our business, we hope to eventually reach to different parts of New England where there are larger cities and places where children can get more frequently lost. We plan to allot about $54,000 each year to marketing because we really need to gain the trust of these consumers through in-person events like pop-up shops and going to family-oriented venues. And also we need to do micro-influencing through social media to gain the customer's trust as well. Our first year startup expenses mainly consist of app development and product design, which will come to around $97,000. However, our total will be around $184,000. We plan to sell the tracker for around $49.99, which will give us a profit margin per unit of around $25.25. However, that will not be where we will be making a majority of our money. We plan to have a subscription plan, which when the parent downloads the app on their cell phone, they will be encouraged to buy the subscription plan for around $4.99 for 5 calls a month or unlimited calls a month for $9.99. We see NugSafe breaking even at around year 2. And in order to increase our brand awareness, we hope to have day rentals in amusement parks and family venues as well. And at year 5, we hope to not only have those day rentals, but also sell our product at those places. Although the wearable technology industry is a very large industry with many other companies involved, we think that NugSafe has a very niche market, being such a unique age group, and also it has affordable pricing, and this product has not been done before. We know that that is something that we can really benefit from. NugSafe, bringing peace of mind with a simple way to monitor and contact your nugget. Do you have any questions?
Question from the judges? This guy?
First of all, wow.
Thank you.
It's just to think that you guys are in high school and you're presenting this type of quality of work, and just that foresight is just truly incredible and commendable to all of you.
Thank you.
With that being said, as a parent myself, this is a technology that is incredibly important for all of us. We've all been to the beach and the little one wanders off the market every day. So my question to you is, I am aware of a similar technology called Gizmo Watch, which my kids wear. How would you say that your technology differs from the Gizmo Watch and similar wearable technologies that have these very similar capabilities?
Okay, I think the main differentiator is the call button. I know that a lot of products that exist right now don't have that feature that immediately contacts the parent's phone. I know some similar technologies go to a calling service where they then can contact other people. This is just such a direct form of communication. And also the combination of the GPS and cellular really allows it to go over larger distances.
Thank you.
I do have a question. Looking at your presentation, I know that one of your competitors is Life 360, I believe. So a big component of their business is selling the data and the location of the families and the children. Now, do you plan on selling data of the family and children, or are you going a different route of like more privacy where you can like kind of like compete with your competitors?
Definitely, we want to keep children safe and value privacy because I know that that's something that a lot of people fear, especially with the growing technology industry. So we hope to kind of just value our customers' safety, and that's something that we really need to build with them.
Okay. So I do not have children. I only have a dog, and I worry enough about my dog, and I can't even imagine, for parents. So I can see how this can be really valuable to parents and provide a lot of peace and comfort. So it's a great idea, and you did a great job. I'm curious because obviously, your presentation touched on that this could be, if a child was ever kidnapped or it was any other real safety emergency. Can the ban be easily taken off? How does that work?
So yes, the ban can be easily taken off, but when I say like unassuming, I almost mean that I want the bracelets to be loud. They need to look like something that a child would actually wear. So we hope that they aren't just like a plain like black watch that a child's wearing. We want it to have like princesses or trucks or cars on it. They need to be almost so unassuming that they look like actually like a child's bracelet. So we hope that that kind of makes it adds to the tamper resistant aspect of it.
Okay, thank you.
Faith, incredible presentation. I
Thank you.
think you answered these questions even so far with such confidence, and to see you up here at your age pitching at this level, identifying a need as a new father myself, as an entrepreneur, we kind of have to like remove fear from our thought process, right? We have to go after all these things and be confident and kind of say, no, I got this on a constant basis. Now with the new child, fear has re-entered, right? Yeah, I don't want to lose that child. So you definitely fill a void with the need, and it's something that is very innovative. Obviously some of the other judges brought up some competitive type of things that you're presenting, but you've presented a good counter argument in all those regards. I just want to really just say, great presentation.
Thank you.
Keep going. I mean, no matter how you, like it was said earlier, no matter how you come out today, be very, very proud of where you are.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you, Faith. Thank you. I'm going to introduce Tiffany Jimenez. She is a member of the Lieutenant Governor's team who has been working so hard to make this possible. And I want all of you to welcome her and thank her for all her work and her sacrifice. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, Faith. Great job. Up next in 2 minutes, we will have Alyssa Davidson with Crow's Nest.
Okay, thank you. There's a big problem in this country with the overconsumption of art supplies. A lot of art supplies go to waste because of college students being required to purchase certain supplies such as oil paints, drafting sets, really anything they wouldn't normally use on their own individual project. So these supplies go unused, maybe used once or twice, and then get thrown away, sit in their attics, or given away. So what can we do to solve this problem? I've come up with the solution of a secondhand art supplies called the Crow's Nest, and it would benefit mostly college students, as I said before, as 2.12 million art students graduate from college each year, and they end up spending an average of $37,000 on just tuition. They have to spend money on their own art supplies for every project, and none of that is provided for them. They really don't need to be spending so much money on art supplies that they could be spending on other necessities. This company could also be beneficial for beginner artists who want a cheap solution and don't want to commit to a new supply, past artists who do not want to use their supplies anymore and just want to make some money, or anyone in general who's interested in saving money on their supplies. But our main audience would still be these art school students. So the benefits of this company, it would help students make their money back. They would be able to sell their old supplies to the store and make some of their money back. And although they would not make what they paid for it, it would still be worth it to make back some of the money they spent and spend it on other things instead of letting it go to waste. Many of these students are always struggling with money because of how expensive tuition is and how much they have to spend on food, so it would be good for them to make some of that money back. They would also be able to receive a discount. Supplies bought from students would be resold for a fraction of the retail price at the store. The students would be more willing to buy a lightly used product for a fraction of the price if it meant saving a bit of money, as opposed to buying it at a regular store such as Michael's or their school-provided art supply store. We would also have a rental system at our store. Frequent customers would be able to buy a yearly membership to rent out supplies they know they would only use for 1 or 2 projects, and then they could bring it back after a set amount of time, and it could always be renewed as needed. It would be like a library card for art supplies. The store would be run similar to that of a Plato's Closet. If you don't know what this store is, it is a store that buys and resells people's old clothing, shoes, and other apparel. We would have about 2 to 3 employees at a time on the clock. Each of our workers would be knowledgeable about pricing and layout of the store. We would have 1 worker at the register buying and selling from customers, and 1 or 2 on the floor helping the customers to find the products they need. Our layout would have floor-to-ceiling shelving, and our stores would probably have limited space because of their close proximity to college campuses, but the high shelving would provide plenty of room for all of our products. And because of our high amount of shelving, we would not have need for a back storage room, as all of our products would be out on the floor. For our income, we would probably hit about $300,000 in revenue per location, and that would leave us with a profit of about $150,000 to $200,000 compared to the pricing on our products. This would leave us with about $5,000 to $8,000 for our marketing. Mainly our marketing would involve social media, as we would be aiming for college students, and a lot of them are on social media, specifically Instagram. Each of our locations would have their own Instagram account, as well as there being a general company account. Each location would be able to post new products to advertise, and they could post about any deals or updates to special store hours or anything else they feel the need to post about. We could also hold art competitions to bring in new customers, and the winner would be given a prize, and it would just help bring in customers. So Crow's Nest is a good way of helping art students, 1 used art supply at a time.
Yes.
Hi, thank you so much. I have a question around your revenue numbers. And so could you help me understand a little bit and break down how you got to that 300K projection annually for the store, and talk a little bit about where you see the biggest part of that revenue coming from?
Yeah, so based on how much, how many art students there are in each school and how much they'd want to get rid of stuff, we wouldn't have a very high cost for how much we would give them. It would be about 35% of the original price of where they bought it. But then once we resell it, it would be about 75%, depending on the quality. So that's also comparing to that of a Plato's Closet. Even though they sell different products, they make about that amount of money per year, as well as other art supply stores making more than that, but they're also selling at the regular retail price. So I cut it down to about 75% of that.
Thank you.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
Great presentation,
Thank
by the way. I noticed that you said that this was going to be secondhand. Have you thought about any supply issues that might arise? Like, let's say if there's not enough supply of secondhand.
Yeah. I did think about that specifically in the beginning because we wouldn't have any supplies to start with. So we would definitely start with newer supplies or maybe have people donate in the area. But that would definitely be a little more expensive in the beginning. We wouldn't be making as much profit in maybe the first year or two, but we could definitely start with new art supplies and try to go from there.
Alyssa, great job. Obviously, waste is an issue, a huge issue across different industries, and the fact that you've identified this as something that you could help fix that in the art industry. I mean, it's a great idea. I'm curious. So, do you envision this to be near college campuses?
Yes.
Okay. So, can you speak to the retail component, where the locations and how you identified where you'd find the most customers?
Yeah. So I chose college campuses because it would be the easiest for students to get to, obviously. And it would be definitely better on getting those customers because they always have their like school run stores and Michael's that they could go to, but it would be cheaper for them to go to our store. And I think either on campus or as close to campus as possible would be the best.
Sure. Thank you.
That's a great job. As someone that's always kind of been involved in the artist community, when I moved out to LA, I was very familiar with Buffalo Exchange. When I didn't have a lot of money, I'd go thrifting myself and enjoyed that process. And I see the need of giving an artist community a creative, collaborative way to obviously save their funds to continue to create, continue to build a better ecosystem here in Rhode Island. So I love the presentation. I love the name of the brand. I just want to say great job for being here. I did think your profit margins were a little bit high. I think you'll learn through the evolution of your process and being around like-minded people. That was my only critique on the presentation, but I love the idea. Great job.
Thank you.
Alyssa, first of all, I want to commend you on sort of thinking outside the box. And for me, this is where innovation really comes in. You took a model of upcycling and took it to a demographic that doesn't quite necessarily, we always think about reselling our books, very expensive science books and things of that nature. As a father of a budding artist, and I'm married to a fellow anchor woman that graduated with an arts degree, I very much felt, what you were saying with regards to the cost of art supplies. Now, one of the things that I've learned in being in this atmosphere is sometimes a lot of these supplies don't quite hold up very well. Sable brushes, for example, insanely expensive, but once they're used a few times, they're not quite as soft as they used to. So within your model, how are you accounting for the fact that you may have to restore some of these supplies, and how does that affect your profit margin?
Yeah. So depending on the quality, we might not accept everything. If it's heavily used, if there's not a lot of product left, if it's something that no one could really get a lot of use out of, then we would probably deny it. If it is something we think we could restore, we would definitely try to put some money into that. And if we think it's profitable, then we would definitely take it. But if not, we'd have to reject it.
Thanks so much.
I also have one more question or kind of thought and comment. As you're thinking about your initial startup and capital expenditures, especially thinking about a physical location, I wonder, one, maybe if you could tell me the importance of having a storefront versus maybe, storefront. And have you thought about the opportunity or idea of maybe starting off to kind of see the viability of the market as a digital marketplace? Somewhere where you don't have to have maybe that initial cost or initial expenditure on a physical space, but get to know your customer and the market through maybe a digital marketplace first. So a couple of thoughts, and maybe if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think digital would definitely be helpful. Starting off online, we could continue online too. But I feel like college students, when they have the time, it's easy to go in person anyways. And I feel like online, if they need it right away, it might be harder for them to get started on that project if they get it later than they need it. So being in person would be very helpful too, but we could do online as well.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Daisha Jackson, and I'm the founder and CEO of Yoga for All, a health and wellness technology company whose mission is to make yoga and holistic health accessible to all people. And in a world reeling from a mental health crisis, accessible wellness is now more important than ever. According to public health experts, the U.S. population is facing an alarming rise in suicide, depression, self-harm, and substance abuse, all related to the COVID-19 pandemic. But fortunately, there is hope for change. According to peer-reviewed research published in the National Library of Medicine, yoga and meditation offer an effective method for managing and reducing stress, anxiety, and depression, the very problems that ail so many of us. Yet, without access to high-quality content and inspiring teachers, millions of people are missing out on these incredible health benefits. Here at Yoga for All, we are going to change that. According to Commune, one of the largest online wellness communities, it is estimated that 1 of 3 yoga studios have permanently closed down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The result? A rapid shift towards practicing yoga at home. For millions around the world, their daily practice went from the yoga studio to the studio apartment, and online yoga teachers became the new normal. This presents an incredible opportunity to bring yoga and wellness directly into the homes of millions and offset the disappearance of yoga studios. So how do we wish to be part of the change we so want to see? Here at Yoga for All, we have created our first ever QR-powered yoga mat that brings yoga and wellness straight into the home and right off of the mat. Our QR-powered yoga mat seeks to capitalize on this shift by empowering our customers to easily access a rotating and curated library of yoga classes, guided meditations, healthy recipes, and so much more. We encourage you to scan the QR code on your table, and you'll be able to access our menu of wellness resources. Next, pick the wellness journey that you need most in this moment. And by sourcing open source content expertly curated, we can guarantee high quality and inspiring content without the costly production fees. And we believe that is perfect for our target consumer. Yoga for All is targeting millennials and BIPOC communities who use technology as second nature and feel a need for yoga and wellness routines to balance their busy daily lives. We plan to promote our mat through targeted advertising on the top YouTube yoga and wellness channels like Yoga with Adrian and Aula Moves. Not only will we promote through sponsored videos and ads, we will send our mats to high-profile wellness influencers, up-and-coming college athletes, and wellness centers to boost awareness for Yoga for All. And while brand awareness is important, we need to set ourselves apart from the competition. Currently, there are no QR-powered yoga mats on the market today. Our next nearest competitor is Yogafy, a smart sensor-enabled yoga mat providing users feedback on how to improve their practice. We, of course, have competition from existing wellness subscriptions like Aula Moves and Peloton, two great but far more expensive options than Yoga for All. And in the case of Peloton, require the purchase of incredibly costly and out-of-reach equipment and perhaps is a bit unsafe. That's not the case at Yoga for All. This not only makes our products easier to use, but far more accessible, as our sales price is just $50. Speaking of sales, let's take a moment to explore these financials a bit more. As I said, one mat sells for $50. With COGS of $37.55, Yoga for All generates a gross profit per unit of $12.45 for every yoga mat that we sell. In order to cover our $656 monthly spend, Yoga for All, we need to sell just 53 mats per month to break even, which we believe positions us well for the future. Speaking of the future, let's take a moment to explore some opportunities that lay ahead and some threats and challenges that we have identified. Although QR codes are innovative, the underlying technology can be hard to defend through patents. Furthermore, our commitment to open source content may leave us vulnerable to a weakness in our content catalog. Yoga for All is only as good as the content we share. But not to worry, like any good entrepreneurs, this presents a real-life opportunity for us down the road. By using open source content to get to market quickly and effectively without costly catalog development, we can grow a large and inspired user base. With the profits generated and lessons learned, we can begin to explore different production strategies to keep Yoga for All on the cutting edge. And our commitment to keeping Yoga for All ahead of the curve can be seen in our recent partnership with Flowcode, the world's first premier QR code marketing, branding, and user design firm. And lastly, Yoga for All is proud to share it has secured a $100,000 investment from the Pepito Opportunity Connection to get our yoga mats to market and highlight the voices of women and people of color in the wellness world like myself. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I look forward to your feedback and all questions. Thank you.
Incredible passion, great presentation. Good
Thank
job
you.
filling a need. I think we all identify, especially after the pandemic, the importance of mind, body, soul, right?
Yes.
And a lot of us kind of obviously were separated from each other throughout the pandemic. And the interesting thing about your concept is a lot of those other type of workout things we kind of enjoy doing in a group setting, uplifting each other through the process. Yoga, you kind of just want to zen out,
Yes.
right? You can do it at time. Time is very important. I'm super impressed with your passion. Often entrepreneurs, we're not necessarily just investing in the idea, we're investing in the person. And I think you have an incredibly bright future. I don't have any questions at this time.
Thank you so
Just
much.
want to say great job.
Thank you.
Great. I have a few questions. Thank you so much for your fantastic presentation. So do you do yoga?
Yes.
Awesome. Amazing. Great. One of the things, I also do yoga and I teach yoga too. And one of the things that I find in the market that's really, really missing is the barriers to entry for women and people of color in that. And so one, identifying kind of a more affordable price point for a yoga mat seems like a really great idea for sure. As I think the last one that I bought was $100 something and not something that I would call affordable. One of the things that I have questions about is the content, right? So some of the barriers to entry for at least my friends and the folks that I communicate with in my community around yoga is that they don't see themselves in those yoga teachers. Right. And so when you're thinking about this curated content that's also already in the market, and we can identify that a lot of that content is still very monochromatic, if I could say that politically, that what are your thoughts and how do you think that you can address some of that content around women and Black and brown bodies being the instructors and the inspirers of that that are teaching them the people who are on the mat?
Yes, so I believe representation is extremely important. And when I was getting into yoga, I did not see my face anywhere. And that was a very big problem. And it is for a lot of people. But for phase one, we have spent so much time curating content specifically directed to the BIPOC community. But as I mentioned, that will be a weakness further down the road because we may not be able to access more of that content because not many people are putting themselves out there, either out of fear or just fear of being ridiculed. But phase two, we have invited about 10 yoga instructors locally in Rhode Island to attend a wellness retreat that we will be hosting in early April. And we will be filming them and inviting Rhode Island schools to attend this event as well in exchange for the content that we record to be hosted on their websites as well as on our mats. And that will be constantly rotated. And hopefully we can create a partnership with them as well. So that is a little bit of the idea.
Awesome. That's a great idea.
Thank
I
you.
know a lot of women of color who are yoga instructors too. So if you need more folks,
Yes.
I can holla at you.
Yes, thank you.
Fantastic job. So
you.
one of the questions that you kept mentioning, open source programming. Is this referring to videos available through YouTube and these type of media outlets?
Yes. So our overall goal for phase one is to expertly curate content that already exists online. But because it is so difficult to seek out this content, we put in a lot of hours to find the best high quality content that expresses diversity as well. But that is only part of our plan so far.
So as you utilize this content and you monetize this content for your own purposes that was recorded by somebody else, did you foresee that there will be challenges, as these individuals learn that you're essentially monetizing the product without essentially giving them a chunk of the money that you bring in?
Yes, so because the content is already open source, it means it's free for anybody to access at any given time. So because it's already on YouTube, there would not be any challenges regarding that. But if we were to use content that was primarily paid for and wasn't on the market already, then that would cause some problems. So in the future, we hope to contact these yoga instructors that we have already started to and create a partnership where they can specifically create content for our products as well. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was a great presentation, and I echo that your passion came out, and then you did a really great job.
Thank you.
You should be proud of yourself. So I actually had a similar question on the copyright challenges that you might face. So you did just address that, but on the patent end, have you looked into that process at all of how you would protect yourself from someone, basically, taking your mat and producing a different version of it?
Yes, so that's where phase two comes in. When we have more exclusive content that is actually patentable, that's when we will look into the more logistics of securing our product. But we are still definitely looking into that.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Okay, it works. Okay. Okay. Negative, assalamu alaikum, and hi. I'm Zainab Boucham, the owner of Sunu Body, a West African boutique that sells African products from an African girl. From my beautiful homeland of Senegal, where the water is blue, the markets are colorful, and the people are warm and welcoming. Okay, awesome. Although Senegal will always be my home, my parents had to make the difficult decision of leaving our country behind to pursue economic opportunity. And like so many before us, so often when people leave home and immigrate to new land, they're forced to leave their culture behind. And the loss of culture to so many means the loss of tradition and the loss of self-care. This can trigger homesickness and the loss of identity, which can lead to depression, anxiety, and even physical sickness. When people forget their culture, when people conform, they tend to forget their culture. And without it, they won't be able to teach future generations. And the loss of culture, and that can lead to the loss of cultural history. Well, not everyone can buy a plane ticket back home, but we can bring Africa to the people. How do we do this? Well, Sunu Body products tell a story. We'll be educating our customers through graphics that will go along with every purchase. These graphics will serve as representation to the people and culture it comes from, because we value inclusivity. We not only sell products, but we sell education, culture, and authenticity. Our mission is to bring out the world's natural beauty through our products and pieces influenced by the African culture. Our relationship to Africa is so important because the success of our company means the success of the hard workers of the land. We plan on employing them at a fair wage so they have the opportunity to be able to sustain themselves. We hope through our work that we'll be able to uplift and empower the beautiful continent and its people. As you can see, Sunu Body started a little less than a year ago, and we've made tremendous growth. So far, we've been able to generate over $10,000 in revenue, as well as open our own online store. Let's talk about our top 3 bestsellers. We have our African Black Soap, which is an organic plant-based soap that naturally cleanses, moisturizes, and clears face and back acne. Our waist beads, which are worn to track weight, reconnect those with their African heritage, and make those who wear them feel and look beautiful. And lastly, our gemstones, which are made out of real crystals inspired by the gemstones that Egyptians have worn. As you can see, these products make up about 75% of our sales. We currently have our skincare and body jewelry line out, and we plan on dropping our wellness line within the next couple of weeks. Many companies don't take the extra steps we do to ensure the authenticity of the cultural products. And the ones who do aren't as affordable as us. We're able to offer education, ethically sourced products, all while being affordable and maintaining good profit. Speaking of profits, let's talk about sales. To date, Sunu Body has generated over 10,000 sales, and with an average monthly sale of $711, we're achieving well over our break-even point, which is only $132 a month, which pays for our online shopping cart, our website, as well as our online advertising budget. This is what, according to our social media and Google Analytics, this is what our target market looks like. But this is not to say Sunu Body discriminates against any other demographic, because Sunu Body translates to our body in Wolof. Sunu Body, an authentic African boutique for anybody and everybody. To get our product out there, we plan on concentrating our marketing towards social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok. As you can see, we currently have 430, this was not updated recently, 430 followers on Instagram and just 30 on TikTok, but we plan on growing more. We plan on investing in social media ads through Instagram and Facebook, and we currently have a brand ambassador program where we have our ambassadors market and make content for us in exchange for discounts off their purchase. We also market through vendor markets. Vendor markets is an amazing way for us to build in-person one-on-one connections with our customers. We not only gain in-person sales, but we're also able to capture a new demographic that we can then transfer to online. Sunubody has many strengths. We're able to have ethically sourced and clean, high-quality products, all while being affordable and maintaining good profit margins. A weakness that we do have is that if we were to get unexpected growth, we would have a hard time getting our inventory in a timely manner. But as we grow, we plan on creating more connections with people so we can have an easier importation process. We have many opportunities through our demographics. There are over 100 million people in the African diaspora, and 1 in 10 Black people in America are immigrants. This, as well as the trend of supporting Black-owned businesses, gives us a large room to grow. Threats that we have is that big companies often have loyal fan bases, but that's not a problem for us because many people, especially those in Gen Z, are easily swayed by their favorite influencers. I started my business in February of 2022, less than a year ago, with $100 in inventory. I was able to turn that into over $10,000 in return. I learned how to sell at vendor markets. I learned how to do social media marketing. I've spoken at Brown University. I have such a passion for entrepreneurship, and I hope I can connect with you all soon. Thank you for listening.
Questions? I do have a question. I know that fantastic presentation. I know I've been saying that a lot, but I can't get over it. One thing I do, I actually purchased African soap, black soap before by a company. I forgot the company's name, but I do know that when I had that soap, it left like a lot of residue on it, and I was just wondering, is that like normal, or is your product different, or like, can you tell me a little bit more about?
Was this a small business, or do you think it was Shea Moisture?
No, it was a smaller business.
It was a smaller business.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean exactly by a residue. African black soap, so it's made out of things like shea butter and other plants that are found around in Africa. So all of it will disintegrate. So there shouldn't be leftover residue since it is naturally made.
Now, just a follow up on that, have you put the products that you're putting out in the market, like have you put it into use with other people? Have you gotten any feedback on like all your products? And what kind of feedback?
Yes. So if you go on our website, we actually have testimonials under some of our products. We plan on posting more of those with all of our customers. We do ask for feedback. And even if you look up African black soap, it's all made the same, especially when it's imported from Africa. You can simply TikTok it or even Google what African black soap, how it benefits you and how people feel about it.
Yeah. Great presentation. This is it was actually really interesting, and I learned a lot about about this industry. So I guess my question is for you long term. I know you're in pop-ups right now and probably go into like farmers markets and whatnot just to get your name out there. But do you envision this to be solely a digital, being sold on a digital marketplace?
So currently, yes, we are at vendor markets. One of our ones is at the Providence Water Fire, and we just plan on expanding at bigger vendor markets around New England and then hopefully around the nation. And then from there, we plan to even go into locations or even working with distributors like Whole Foods or other companies that would be interested in taking our products. And one of our biggest things is that we really do want to grow online because the e-commerce market is just growing rapidly and it's so easy and accessible to all people if we were to be online.
Yeah, great. Are you collecting data at all right now in terms of where you're finding most of your customers, where they're coming from?
Yes, completely. We do collect data from our social media analytics through Instagram and Facebook. And one of our biggest sources is the ones that we do collect from our Shopify analytics.
Great.
Yes.
Great presentation.
Thank you so much.
Great passion again. I could see your passion come through in the presentation. To take $100 and scale it to $10,000 of such a small amount in just a year is super impressive. I've been super impressed by all the students so far, and I can tell you guys are all on such a trajectory path of success that I'm probably going to be learning from you future in life. So great. I learned a lot also. That was a great point. I don't know a lot about a lot of these products. Super fashionable. Have you considered, are you sourcing all the products from there? And have you considered an element in the future to kind of give back through, some jewelry for a cause where you're actually constantly improving the ecosystems? I like investing at home myself. I grew up in Cranston. A lot of my investments are about building community, building about better ecosystems. That's what I love about your project. I just wondered where your future path was for something like that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's one of my biggest things. One of the hardest things in Africa when I was there, a lot of people, it's hard for people to have work. They don't do hourly wage. There's not lunch breaks, and it's so hard. And especially the women in Africa, they're not able to go out and work. They stay home. And I know I have personal family who experienced this. So one of my biggest things of giving back is giving them a stable job, a work where they're able to enjoy. I want them to be able to be paid fairly. I want them to be able to experience lunch break, even have a childcare system where if women are working, they're able to drop their kid off at a daycare right next to the facility so they can work and improve their lives. So they have the opportunity to sustain themselves. Because I feel like that's one of the biggest things that we can do. Even though so many companies give so much money out and that does so much good, it's hard when it's not sustainable. A lot of the time they'll be given money once in a while. And I feel like giving people the opportunity to be in charge of their own growth is the biggest thing that I can do for them.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. So I may have missed this during your presentation, but can you remind me about some of the details of where you're sourcing your either crystals for the beads or or the waist beads or for your bracelets, and then also all the ingredients that go into your products?
Okay, awesome. So the only thing that is not sourced from Africa is our gemstone bracelets. We get these from Turkey or Dubai just because it came from a lot of Arabic influence. But we do plan to hopefully grow in where we get our materials, mostly trying to stick around Africa. Everything else is imported from Senegal. And in Senegal, there are these markets, the colorful markets. So there are people from Mali, Mauritania, Gambia, and they all go to Senegal and they go to these markets and we go and we buy wholesale from these vendors. So they make them by hand. So we go to the artisans. I'll try to exchange information so I can continue to work with them. And then they get the materials from around their habitat. So within Africa, we get in our African black soap, we have shea butter in it. We have palm tree oil. We have baobab oil. They put plantain peel leaves, things like that. It's all made from their surroundings, which is really cool. Same thing with our bracelets. They're made out of real crystals. And that's why we try to really push the authenticity, because a lot of the times nowadays at the markets, a lot of people are met with synthetic ingredients or poorly made products. And we really value authenticity and high quality.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This work? So, first we'd like to thank you for letting us come to present to you today. We are Community Connections. I'm Liam Helfrich.
I'm Will Sterla. And I'm Sid Gupta.
So, have you ever needed to mow your lawn, move boxes, or wash your car, but you simply didn't want to or just didn't have the time? Well, it seems the only other option would be to hire a professional at an exorbitant rate, but that is not true. You can always hire a teenager, a neighborhood teenager, to come do the work for you. But that option is becoming less and less viable because the number of teens working has decreased by 50% in the last 20 years. And this is because of an increase in homework and other things. So students need more flexibility with their jobs if they want to continue to work. So the solution, Community Connections, a hyper-local service marketing platform targeted towards teenagers where we bring together teenagers and the adults through our platform.
Yeah, so what would this service actually look like? Well, our vision is to create a community where teens and adults can connect to find and offer work. And not only would this unite neighborhoods, but it's also going to allow us to give back in the form of charity, which we're going to give actually 10% of our profits back. So to make that happen, we're going to create a digital platform. So this could be an app or a website. And up above, you would see the process that someone would go through to actually hire a teen. For example, if I was an adult employer trying to hire a teen, I would first go into our interface and type in landscaping. That would then give me a variety of teen biographies where they're already rated and reviewed to select from. We could chat in the feature in the website and find out any job information. And finally, the employer and the employee will get a confirmation. However, the employer is going to see a 10% fee, which we're going to take for our business as a platform fee. Our target market. So adults are going to be homeowners, and those actually tend to be over the age of 36. However, any homeowner would apply.
Okay.
Young adults would be 14 through 20. Our geographics are any neighborhood, and to start, we'll be focusing on Rhode Island exclusively. Our psychographics are going to be community-focused people, as again, we want to really emphasize that community aspect of our business. The teens are going to be flexible. They're going to need that flexibility to have to work, and so teens, if they're not having that opportunity to work as much full-time jobs, and that's becoming a new industry trend.
So here's a lineup of some of our competitors. Here we have Nextdoor, which is a hyperlocal social media platform. Fiverr, which is an online gig work company. Teenage freelancers who aren't connected to like any of these platforms, and also professionals who might be in one of the fields that we're in, for example, landscaping. But we have differentiated ourselves from all of these people. Our strengths are that for teens, for teen workers, we offer flexibility and we do all of their marketing for them. For adults, we offer inexpensiveness compared to professionals, ease of use for seniors, safety because we'll vet every single person on the platform, and in-person jobs. Places like Fiverr only offer online jobs, and that's not going to be useful to homeowners. Our main opportunity is going to be expanding outside Rhode Island because our business is so scalable. If we succeed inside Rhode Island, we'll succeed out of it. We are building from the ground up, so we'll have to market really aggressively in order to get started. But given that we have no inventory, we're literally just a website and an app, we can insulate ourselves from dry periods in our business. Our marketing plan comes in two parts. First, social media. We'll be putting ads on Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. We're also planning on community outreach, so we'll be putting posters and announcements in communal centers like libraries and senior centers. As Will mentioned, the way we'll generate revenue is a 10% platform fee paid by the employer. 97% of each transaction will be profit, only 3% will go to payment processing, for example, PayPal. 10% of that 97% will go to charity. And given that, our break-even point will be when 390 adults are using the platform. Some of our costs include ads, maintenance, and the biggest cost, building the website. Maintenance in this case refers to website maintenance. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to present. We really enjoyed making this idea. Do you have any questions?
Okay, great. Great job. So I understand that the business model, right, is you're connecting homeowners with teens to do odd jobs, whatever they might need. Do you also, I guess my question is, do you also collect the money that the teen would be receiving from the home owner, and then facilitating the fee to the teen?
Yes, we do that in order to prevent fraud from happening. So the employer will pay the money, the job will get completed, and then the teen will receive the money, and that will help prevent fraud.
Another thing too is that with the part of the business that it's the connection of it that we're offering. If someone were to connect and then not use our service and not pay that 10%, that could be a problem. So we would charge them before the service is actually done to prevent them from just not using and not paying for the connection aspect.
Okay, so you have them pay for the 10% for you take the 10% from the overall whatever the fee.
So let's say it was $20. We would charge the adult $2 extra.
Okay.
And then we would take the $2.
Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying.
I do have a question. I love the idea. I have a concern about the safety issue of it. Can you tell me a little bit more? Are you vetting these people? Do they have access to these teams?
So
like that?
yes, there will be vetting systems in place, and there will also be a verification through the parents of the teenagers that are using the app. So let's say I go to some job. So my parents would then get a notification saying, Liam has arrived. This job is expected to take 2 hours. So then if they haven't heard back within those 2 hours, roughly 2 hours, of course, because some stuff can go longer, then action can be taken. And of course, they have the address and all that as well. And there will be background checks so that the adults are safe people for the teenagers, and the teenagers are real people as well. Those are two very important things that we are focused on.
Great. Two of my, or one of where I want to start. So I love this idea. One because I have a large yard and need someone to mow it, and it's not me. But so love really. It's very relevant. So I love that your solution is really solving a problem. One of the things that has coming to my mind is your use of the terms employee and employer. And as somebody who has employees, and I am an employer, a lot of legal stuff comes with those things. And so if you are a formal marketplace, you're kind of like the Uber, but of odd jobs between teens and is what it's kind of sounding like. That actually there's not a lot, I didn't see any costs associated with the logistical side of providing 1099s or paperwork to be able for tax purposes. And maybe this is only on the front of my mind because, oh, it's tax season. But I just wanted to think if this is something that you guys have run into, have thought a little bit about when it comes to the tax implications and the stringency from Mr. Government around exchanging money between two parties.
Yeah, so we actually done a bit of research regarding that, because even like employment age, for example, like, 16-year-olds don't need paperwork, 14-year-olds, do need paperwork. So we have done a bit of research into actually figuring out, again, the logistical side of hiring those people. So again, with the employees part of it, we wouldn't, technically they're not really our employees. It's more like we were debating whether to call them students or something too.
Independent contractors,
Yeah,
I think the word you're looking for.
So that's kind of, we would need to think about how that would be done to a greater extent, and that would take, knowing the laws more too. But from our research, we've found that a verification system put in place, such as logging in or creating an account, would involve those verification safety issues.
Yeah, and to use the app, you would need the paperwork. So the users, so to be specific, the contractors that you were speaking about on the app would need to provide the paperwork necessary to use the app. So that's important.
And just because I think I might have neglected this, you guys all have a financial document in front of you that we've analyzed our finances.
Yeah. Just
please.
Well, just first, I just want to say you guys are in high school, right? So this is just wow. Shout out to the Rhode Island Department of Education, because this is just truly incredible. So one of my questions was around liability. So we're having individuals go into somebody else's property and conduct these odd jobs. Let's say we have a lawnmower accident or somebody's doing the dishes and they get cut. How does that affect you?
So that is an issue, right? And that is something that's important to recognize. So we have systems, and basically we will make it so that they are signing liability. So we're not liable. Let's say a lawnmower accident, and also let's say there is a lawnmower accident, something gets broken, right? Let's say a window per se. That person, since we have them payment, it's been paid to us previously to the job. They don't necessarily get paid if the job wasn't satisfactory or if something went wrong, and then we would go on a case-by-case basis to solve any issues like that.
Yeah, just for example, like let's say there was an instance where the job wasn't done properly, we would then, if we were contacted by the employer, this job wasn't done properly, like I want my money back, we could go through, like, again, by the case-by-case based on that.
And just relating to that, we will implement a reporting system as well and a strike system.
Just a brief question. Well, a statement on, it's great when building teams, right? When you're building a business. And obviously the competitors of yours earlier tonight in the pitch process were all individuals. I like seeing the unique values that you all bring to the table in building a business. For me, one of my first jobs was caddying at a country club at 12 years old. What I loved doing was asking those members of success, how they got to where they were, right? There's a value of getting that occupational job. What I would recommend to you all, because I think this is a super scalable concept, and in addition to hearing scalability and all these words that I've heard that I didn't learn until way later on in life, I'm super impressed by everybody. But a question that I might want you to guys consider is having a board of advisors or board of mentors in those specific sectors of industries that you guys are offering those occupational opportunities to, letting those mentors kind of mentor those kids through the process, and then you're really continuing to build that community aspect of the brand name, Community Connections, right? Great job, guys.
Awesome idea. Thank you so much.
Wow, this is amazing. I'm so happy that I'm not one of the judges. You're going to have a difficult task today, but I want to thank you for volunteering to do this work. We really appreciate it. All of you were so impressive. I just want to say thank you for your dedication and for submitting your application. We learned so much today from your presentations. It's hard to think that you're only in high school, so I can see your future is going to be so bright. So congratulations. I just want to acknowledge that Secretary Liz Tanner was here with us. Unfortunately, she couldn't stay for the rest, but she wanted to make sure to come and show support. And her team is available. Doris Blanchard is here representing Commerce. As well, we have Tomas Avila, who is the Associate Director for the Division of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion for the state of Rhode Island. Tomas, thank you so much for being here. So now the judges have to deliver it. So they're gonna go to another room, gonna make their decision, they're gonna come back. In the meantime, I think we can take some time to take a break. There's some refreshments, coffee, some pastry here. Let's make sure that we take a break with refreshment while the judges have the difficult task. Thank you. We'll be back.